In terms of your kind of decision, say executive decision maker that you sell to, who's that?
This is another great question, which I think a lot of people in the sales space fall into. I know you're very familiar with it, which is there's the user and then there's the decision maker and buyer, right? So a lot of the users for our clients, for our products, and anybody in the AI and ML space has historically been the data scientists. The individual data scientists, and they're the ones who are using it. In many instances, they've kind of just gone out and found the tools that work best for them. What that does is it creates a problem around scaling within large organizations because every data scientist is using their own tools, right? And it creates some risk and compliance issues, and it doesn't allow for shared learning across an organization. So what we've seen now is the advent of a couple things. We're starting to see the advent of ML ops teams that run the AI strategies across an organization, the data teams. And now we're starting to sell more into that director and VP level decision maker who's focused more on the strategic side, not just the capabilities and operational side. But it doesn't mean that we're still not going bottom up as much as we're going top down. And again, it really depends where in those 10 steps we're meeting those clients, and where they are in the process is also who we're talking to.
Oh, great. And then do you have any partnering strategy?
We do. It's an extremely, very, very important part of our business. We, beyond just the portfolio companies that we've recently acquired and are both integrating from a solution standpoint to provide more value to our clients, there's a number of other partners that we work with. One of them is the Indoor Lab. We're doing some really exciting things with them in the LiDAR space, where we're able to take data that's coming from LiDAR sensors and being able to monitor all sorts of things in the smart city environment, the airport environment, and be able to utilize the data, turning LiDAR video into data, structured data, that can be rolled into predictive analytical AI models to be able to predict everything from vehicle flow, foot traffic flow, how to reduce lines at security checkpoints in airports. How do you leverage this data? How do you make sure that there aren't not just traffic accidents, but what about near misses where a car almost hit a pedestrian? Thank God they didn't. But how do you avoid those sorts of things? So we're working with them, and we're very deeply involved with one of our most important partners is Dell Technologies, and we work to support their Analytics Anywhere platform. And it's been a great partnership. We're doing a lot of really exciting things that we're working on with them. And then lastly, from a really cool perspective, Randy, everyone talks about data, AI and ML. If you're not as excited about it as I am, it can be pretty boring and technical. We also just partnered and we announced a big relationship with the American racing team and a multi-year agreement where we're going to be a title sponsor of their racing squad to be able to use artificial intelligence to really increase on-track performance based on tire pressure, weather, weight of the car, all those things that you see in F1, we're now starting to apply our capabilities, and we've been able to prove out the value of that and help the team succeed.
Oh, awesome. And I think I skipped over in the beginning, but what numbers can you share with us in terms of revenue or customers or anything like that?
We're a privately held company, so I'm not going to get into too much of our revenue numbers. What I will tell you is that our acquisition strategy has allowed us to grow tenfold in revenue over the last almost 2 months or so, which is really exciting. The size of the business and people is probably 4 to 5x as far as the number of people that are now working as a part of Blattner Technologies. And Randy, I think what's most important is when you're taking this approach of not trying to build one company from the bottom up, but to bring companies together to increase overall revenue, to create more value for the businesses themselves, most importantly for our clients. A lot of this is how do you then restructure the organization and put pieces together into business units? How do we price things? How do we bundle up services that if they were being sold as a point solution, you might only be able to sell for a few hundred or thousands of dollars on a monthly or annual recurring, but be able to bundle it as part of a larger solution. And now all of a sudden, it's a better product and capability for the client, and there's much greater revenue and margin for us as well. So we tend to start with do no harm. It's we're really focused on growth and providing more value for these great companies that we're now working with and the teams that are there. So we look at how we can leverage the capabilities of the companies that exist, help them continue to excel in what they're already doing, but create completely broader opportunities for them to grow much, much faster than they could have. We have a better together strategy. Create a organizational structure that supports that. One area we're very focused on in doing that is to provide a government type of practice where we can drive government sales and federal, local, state sales, where each company doesn't have to do it individually. We can do it at the corporate Blattner Technologies level.
Wow. So if I'm a SDR at a company you're acquiring, or I'm a sales leader, right now I'm kind of selling, I'll say whatever my kind of stovepipe is, but coming under the Blattner umbrella, for lack of better words, yeah, I'll still likely have kind of that same business unit, but I have the benefit of cross-pollinating with brothers and sisters that have other technologies that are calling on, similar companies possibly, and we can kind of figure out that better together, which then I'll say career-wise and short-term metric
you've used across all those areas, just growth. I've included, I would say the last 3 or 4 deals we've done, particularly some of the stuff we're doing with Dell, we've been able to include 2 or 3 of our different portfolio companies into deals that they would have never even gotten into because they wouldn't have had that relationship that we have with Dell or other partners like what we're doing with the indoor lab. They wouldn't have been able to be part of such a fully integrated solution, but it also just provides much greater value for our clients now, because instead of giving them just one piece of it, we're able to really give them a holistic solution that really works, but they have one organization to work with and one technical team to help them implement and move forward with and support.
That's great. What about on your, say, separate from the acquisition side, what type of openings do you have on the kind of sales and go-to-market side?
Let me clarify one very important thing. We are finding companies to the value proposition that Blattner can bring, but what we're really investing in is in teams. We're acquiring and investing in, most importantly, and bringing together just unbelievable teams of people and helping them unlock their capabilities, not just to help them grow the business they were already working and involved in, but to help them really grow a even bigger vision, bigger company that has even greater value. We are hiring and looking for people across the board. We all know it's hard to find some of the top talent in data science. From a sales perspective, we're sorting out kind of who goes where and where that fits in. But you mentioned SDRs, you mentioned salespeople, and also look, we're putting together new strategies around go-to-market. Is it regional? Is it based on vertical industry categories? Do we have experts and specialists based on solutions we can put together, right? If we have a great solution for, say, the stadium space or smart cities, we want to then have somebody who can go out and really sell that over and over and over again. So there's a lot of opportunity with us right now. And I'd say everyone's coming together in a really strong way to understand how it all fits as the pieces. But a lot of it is do no harm and focus forward as to how we help all these businesses grow and create a multiplier effect for our clients.
That's great. So from, if I'm somebody that's you're acquiring, or I'm looking to kind of interview and work there, you mentioned a ton of great things that are why I'd want to work there. Any other things that you throw on top that's special about the culture?
Well, I think what makes it a really interesting organization is the multitude of things that we're able to do. So we're doing everything from professional services, machine learning operations, cloud hosted management capabilities and platforms, data bus services, video intelligence, some really exciting things in security space. So there's a lot happening in a lot of different places. And what makes it really cool is our ability to take people who may have only been focused in one area and really leverage them somewhere else. I've got a gentleman who works for me, a great recent college grad out of Notre Dame. And I mean, we put him on so many different projects that he's so smart, capable, that it's not just great for him, but it's great for us. So we're able to apply and take great people and move them into cool different projects to give them a taste, a lot of different things. And I think that makes it really interesting. I think the fast-paced growth of our business is really cool. The global nature of what we're doing and working on the challenge of how a lot of these individual solutions, capabilities, and businesses really come together, right? When you acquire companies that might even, you could integrate them. You can't do it in a day. So it takes time to understand how those technologies come together and really where you start. It's really just this company plus this company, somewhat separate, but better together in a number of ways. So it's a fun challenge for everybody to figure out.
All right. I'm in. You got a territory for me?
We focus on hiring. I'm a big believer, and based on my own background, we like to hire athletes. I always say, Derek Jeter, I'm a Yankees fan, obviously one of the greatest second basemen ever to play the game. But, if I had to choose somebody to play basketball with, you'd probably want to choose Derek too, right? I mean, we like to hire great athletes and put them in great spots and give them the opportunity to really succeed, and give them mentorship, give them the tools and measurements of success and clear focus so that they can be the best at what they do.
Yeah. So Derek Jeter, he played for one of the New York teams, I think, right?
Yeah, one of the smaller clubs out there. Yeah.
And you said Notre Dame. My wife and her family all went to Notre Dame, so I intentionally am able to position myself this way when you do this.
So Randy, you know what I've learned about having a Notre Dame graduate working on my team? Now I know a lot about Notre Dame too, because exactly. Man, when you get a Notre Dame, that's it. They're in, so it's exciting.
Yes, and good news, bad news. I was with Peter Bell and some other friends out at the BC game at Notre Dame. We got destroyed 44-0, and it was cold and snowy and long ride back to Chicago. But anyway, it's all good. So we have a question from Tim. So full disclosure, he is from Convertive, who is our sponsor. So question is, how are you using AI/ML within your own sales and marketing stack? That's interesting. Or are you learning
leaning
on PAC solutions for things like predicting pipeline, revenue, forecasting, et cetera?
Hey, Tim, that's a really great question. I appreciate it. It's interesting. It's kind of a twofold question. When we look at each of the individual portfolio companies and new capabilities that we're adding and existing businesses that we're adding into Blattner Technologies, as you can imagine, they all come with their own sales, marketing, technology stack. So one of the things that we're doing is trying to find the best of those solutions, the best strategies. We're all learning from each other, but also trying to find efficiencies of those tools to understand how we can leverage them and give someone like me and the rest of the executive team a real bird's eye view. So I would say right now we have a plethora of a variety of tools, some more advanced than others, some spreadsheet based, and some that are using some of the most advanced technologies out there at the portfolio level with the different business units that we're putting together. But absolutely, we actually have our own team utilizing the Boss AI platform and to pull our own data. And a lot of the data that we're now able to collect historically and currently from all these companies that are now a part of the Blattner family, so that we can do more predictive sales and marketing capabilities. And it's something that we're very focused on as we move into Q1. So we're not there yet, because again, we're sorting a number of things out, but we recognize and have a project in place to focus on the data. The data is the new oil, man. If I can leverage all the data of the companies that are now part of Blattner, our ability to accelerate growth and be even more knowledgeable about what's working in sales and marketing is really critical for us, and we recognize that's a huge opportunity.
Great, great question, Tim, and feel free to ask another one more self-serving. But certainly the data focus in terms of without the data, you really have nothing. I know that's one of the key areas that Convertive focuses on in helping, and I'm sure we'll have some follow-ups from here based on your great answer there for sure. So maybe speaking about that on the kind of sales tech stack side of things, but I find it amazing. I'm sure you do too. Kind of what speaking about looking through the front windshield, but kind of what sales ops was and rev ops is, and kind of the tools and help that are available there as you're in your CRO function.
Yeah, I think it's very, very interesting, because one of the things I think we are going to have to figure out, and I wouldn't say struggle with, but at least struggle through, is first of all, how do we do no harm, right? And my goal isn't to, our goal, we're acquiring just really great companies. We're partnering with great companies, and we're bringing on great teams, particularly in the sales and marketing areas of these companies. our goal isn't to immediately just say, hey, if you're using Salesforce and you're using HubSpot, migrate everything over. We have to put a strategy in place to understand how to do that. Now, do we all need, a seamless, AI license, and we're all paying for it 6 different times or whatever it might be, or, Zoom Info or whatever they might be using, and a variety of other tools for social media activities that are going on. Now, we have to figure that out a little bit and create more value out of that. But ultimately, we need to figure out how to create a bird's eye view. And I do think that that's probably of significant. Our focus has been on doing deals, closing deals, doing the right deals, making sure that they're a great opportunity for both sides of all the parties involved, and an exciting opportunity for growth. And I think we're going to have to deal with some of these sales operational challenges as we move into Q1 and start pulling more of these things together. But it's high on my list. And a sales ops person, to be honest with you, is critical. I don't have one in my organization yet. Either we'll find someone within the team currently, or we'll need to bring somebody on, because it's critical to our ability to have vision, access, and be predictive about what we're going to do and grow the business and where. One of the companies that we acquired, without going into detail, has been somewhat flat in certain areas, and we believe that there's great opportunity for growth. But what we really discovered is, while they're putting a lot of focus on their growth in the US, kind of under the radar screen, it's been their European and Middle East business that's really had some great trajectory. So do we focus on continue to try to solve some of the issues in the US side of their business, or do we really take advantage of the growth opportunities in the Middle East right now? Because it's just a tremendous opportunity, and they're already seeing those results. So a lot of this is, Randy, I know you're familiar with this. Look, it all comes down to prioritization as well. Yep. And that leads our go-to-market strategy. It will lead our marketing team. It will lead our sales approach. But we have to prioritize, and we have to get wins and forward progress, and then we can expand from there.
Yeah. And then certainly as you continue to grow and acquire, everybody's going to have different flavors of the sales tech stack. So you also have a challenge in terms of, okay, how do you rationalize and kind of get the maximum leverage from kind of the tools and, allowing the teams to have that foresight.
Yeah. And the messaging, we have multiple SDR teams in place now. So we have to, again, probably bring everybody together and do some education and some understanding, and be able to, again, we want to be able to, in building out the broader capabilities and selling a fully integrated MLOps platform, but with professional services on certain ends, and on the back end, on the more advanced side, ML, model monitoring, observability, other key areas for growth and predictive analytics. We also want to be able to make sure that those companies individually continue to grow as well. So it's how do we all come together? But having been in a similar situation at big companies like primarily Cisco, I spent a lot of my days thinking to myself, how would we do this at Cisco? Exactly what I'm doing now. How would we do this at Cisco? Forget about what we could spend or the teams that may be in place. Best in breed approach. How would we do it at Cisco? And I think that's leading a lot of, how at least I approach it, and based on the prior successes, experience, and capabilities of the unbelievable team that's leading Blattner and our different divisions, everyone brings a lot of that approach to it.